Just as it has always been, when our memories of the ancient world fade into twilight, a new era dawns to fill the void, an unfamiliar path with a pulse of its own, a tempo not dictated by the labor of men, but accelerated by the rhythm of machines, launching the world into an age of bold innovation. From this cauldron of steel and sweat, a vision of prosperity emerged. Harnessing the untold power of the elements, turning night into day. Creating new designs that brought the world stage to the masses. And providing an experience that many had never imagined. The advent of mechanized warfare brought devastation like none the world had ever seen. Providing a window of opportunity for some to dictate conformity as regimes spread their ideologies with a heavy hand. Inciting the world to the brink of war. And yet, some chose a different path, and through their vision brought unique perspectives to the world. As singular proponents of free thinking remained, striving for peace in their endeavors to unlock the secrets of the universe, some of which would fill our hearts with fear and regret. And as this progress unfolds, the finite nature of our world becomes clear. Our survival, the survival of all the world's peoples, depends on our ability to coexist in peace. But this peace is tenuous. Although mankind will always look onward, yearning for more, searching for new boundaries, only to break through them, with the understanding that this world is one in which we all share, comes the responsibility of knowing that the decisions you make today will have a lasting impact on the generations of tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Eli, and this is Vultureman.
And today, we're going to be learning about the history of the world.
Today, we'll be discussing the Industrial Revolution, unification imperialism, World War I, World War II.
Boring! Let's go!
Hello. Today, in Chapter 1, we will be discussing the French Revolution, the American Revolution, the rise and fall of Napoleon, and nationalism and its influence on the world.
Boring! Let's talk about the ninjas. Today, the ninjas, Vultureman 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you watch it on YouTube today. Subscribe to Taco Saucy.
I just love eating all the funny foods that come onto my plate because the poor people they serve.
The French Revolution, which lasted from 1789 to 1799, was a war between the bourgeoisie and the upper class of France. The revolution was a long and grueling process, including the beheadings of many people. This in turn led to unstableness and the lack of a government.
There's something. Get out of here, you heathen.
Oh, please, just a piece of bread.
Get.
Oh. 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 Where's the bread? Oh. 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 Oh.
Good day. Give me your taxes, peasant.
That's all I have, sir, please.
This isn't enough.
The American Revolution was caused by the harsh treatment that the British gave the Americans during this time. This in turn led to a widespread revolution. The revolution was influenced by harsh taxes that the British put on the American people, like the stamp tax and the tea tax.
No taxation without representation. They're taxing us on our stamps, our tea. We're gonna rise up and kill them. Ah!
Napoleon was considered one of France's and the world's greatest military generals. Like Alexander the Great, he wanted to take over as much land as he could.
Napoleon was a well-known general back in his day, and he conquered many lands, including most of Europe. Eventually, Napoleon got too big for his britches and was later exiled to the island Elba, where he would spend the rest of his life.
America! 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 Nationalism's great, dude! Oh, no bomb! No bomb!
I'm like, let's go play Minecraft. Can't keep my ores on my chest. I don't have diamonds no more. We're mining diamonds, you know. That creeper's gonna blow us up. I gave her diamonds I mined. I craft a diamond pickaxe. Look at these diamonds I get. Just found a portal to end, so I had to kill the dragon.
Oh, me back hurts. I do not have farm equipment or anything. I wish I could just live in a more populated area, like a urban residential zone with concrete and sidewalks and flat screen TVs and steam engines. I love Industrial Revolution. It got me all of this, including more land and a steam engine.
During the late 18th century, a new movement in art called Romanticism spread like wildfire throughout the lands. This in turn led to people being more individualistic and wanted, people to be more artistic and whatnot. After the Congress of Vienna in 1815, the land of Italy was still divided. Nationalist rebels, also known as the Red Shirts, captured Sicily. After Sicily, Garibaldi crossed the Italian mainland and marched north. After Garibaldi took complete control of the southern Italy, the people voted to unite with the north. The unification of Germany really started when Otto von Bismarck became Prime Minister in 1862. With his ideal of realpolitik, he was known as the Iron Chancellor and ruled with a powerful fist. After many wars were fought, the Congress of Vienna finally established the 5 great powers in Europe: Britain, France, Austria, Prussia, aka Germany, and Russia. Social Darwinism is the theory of individuals, groups, and peoples are subject to the same Darwinian laws in natural selection as plants and animals. Now largely discredited, it was used to justify political conservatism, imperialism, and racism to discourage intervention and reform.
Cutting up of Africa is like cutting this piece of paper in a million different pieces. Now, once you do this is something you can do at home. DIY cutting up Africa. Now you have your pieces, and you put it together wrong. That's the cutting up of Africa.
Before World War I, there were many treaties signed by different countries. This caused a no-win situation in many places. The biggest case, though, was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Austria-Hungary by the Serbian nationalist group, the Black Hand.
Move!
With World War I raging on, there were many things happening at the time. German U-boats were in the seas and bombing innocent ships, which didn't go very well with the American people. The United States finally entered the war and tried to make it the war to end all wars. The final war. That was wrong. During this time of war and suffering, there was another thing that happened. The Armenian Genocide, which lasted from 1915 to 1917, took place in the Ottoman Empire, the Russian Empire of Persia, and so on. Over 1.5 million people died during these 2 years. After the mess, which was World War I, Europe tried to make the precursor to the United Nations, the League of Nations. Though many Europeans thought it was a good idea to join forces, the Americans did not and rejected the League of Nations. Lenin's revolution, Stalin's rise to power, Hitler's rise to power, Mussolini's rise to power, German, Italian, Japanese atrocities, isolationism and appeasement, domestic distractions, Allies and Axis powers, the Holocaust, the use of nuclear weapons, creation of the United Nations.
Listen here, buddy. We didn't do the Bay of Pigs. Suka. Guess what? I have missiles and firearms right behind me. If you want to mess with me, you're going to have to deal with one of those. Suka! Guess what? You're going to be in the slammer, buddy. Suka, please! Don't kick that. That is $200,000. My parents gave it to me. Suka! Listen here, Gorbachev. I'm gonna have to really give you a whooping. Suka! War is hell.
The start of the Cuban Missile Crisis started when Mr. Gorbachev from Russia sent nuclear arms to Cuba, right near our borders. This started a stalemate between the two because if one nuked the other would get nuked in terms of a mad agreement. Eventually, the crisis was solved with the missiles leaving and sanctions being put on Cuba. Key people during the Cold War were Harry Truman, Joseph Stalin, Nikita Khrushchev, Leonid Brezhnev, Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon B. Johnson, Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, Mikhail Gorbachev.
Good stuff.